Today we are looking at a pair of headphones that sit in a very specific category. Not consumer entertainment. Not flashy lifestyle audio. But real, honest studio monitoring. The kind of headphones that are designed to tell you the truth about your sound, even when that truth is not flattering. At first glance, the design is intentionally simple. There is nothing here trying to grab attention. No aggressive shapes. No glowing accents. Just a clean, functional studio look that feels like it belongs next to mixing consoles and audio interfaces rather than fashion setups. The build is lightweight, which is immediately noticeable once you pick them up. That lightness is not about cutting corners in a cheap way. It is more about long session usability. When you are wearing something for hours while editing, mixing, or recording, weight becomes part of the experience. And these stay out of your way. The ear cups fold inward, which adds a practical layer of portability. You can pack them into a bag without needing a dedicated case the size of a small backpack. For anyone moving between a home setup and a studio environment, that flexibility actually matters more than it sounds on paper. Comfort is one of the strongest points here. The padding is soft enough to avoid pressure points, and the clamp force is balanced so they stay secure without feeling tight. Long listening sessions do not turn into a distraction, which is exactly what you want in a monitoring headphone. But the real focus here is not design or comfort. It is sound. These headphones are tuned with a reference mindset. That means the goal is not to make music sound more exciting than it actually is. The goal is accuracy. Starting with the low end, the bass response is controlled and disciplined. It is present, but not exaggerated. You are not getting that boosted impact that makes everything feel more powerful than it should. Instead, you hear the real structure of the low frequencies. That is important when you are balancing kick drums, bass lines, or any low-end layering in a mix. Moving into the mid-range, this is where the tuning really shows its value. Vocals come through clearly, with separation that makes it easier to identify details in recordings. Instruments do not fight for space in the center. Instead, they sit in a defined position, which helps when you are making decisions about EQ, compression, or layering. The high frequencies are detailed without becoming sharp. There is enough brightness to reveal texture and detail in cymbals, strings, and effects, but it avoids that harsh edge that can cause fatigue during long sessions. This balance is important because studio work is not a short listening experience. It is hours of repetition and fine adjustment. Soundstage is what you would expect from a closed-back design. It is not artificially wide, but it is organized. You get a sense of placement and separation that is reliable enough for tracking and mixing tasks. Nothing feels overly stretched or exaggerated. One of the key strengths of this kind of headphone is translation. What you hear here tends to carry over well to other systems. That means if your mix sounds balanced on these, there is a good chance it will hold up on speakers, car systems, or consumer earbuds. That kind of consistency is what makes monitoring headphones valuable in real production workflows. Isolation is also solid enough for most environments. It reduces outside noise to a manageable level, allowing you to focus on detail work without needing a perfectly treated room. It is not full noise cancellation, and it is not trying to be. It is passive isolation done in a practical way. There is no wireless feature set here. No companion app. No digital enhancements. And that is actually part of the identity. This is a wired tool built for clean signal flow and zero latency monitoring. When you are recording or tracking audio, that immediacy matters more than convenience features. Latency-free monitoring is one of the reasons wired studio headphones still exist in professional environments. What you hear is exactly what is happening in real time, without delay or processing. In terms of usage, this is clearly aimed at creators, producers, podcasters, and anyone working with audio seriously. If you are looking for heavy bass, cinematic sound, or a boosted listening experience, this is not the direction. But if you want to hear your audio in a more honest way so you can improve it, This fits perfectly into that workflow. It is not trying to be impressive. It is trying to be useful. And in studio tools, usefulness always wins over hype. This is the kind of headphone that quietly becomes part of your workflow, not because it stands out, but because it stays consistent. It lets you hear problems you would miss otherwise, and that ultimately leads to better sounding output. So if you are building a studio setup or looking for a reliable monitoring option that focuses on accuracy over entertainment, this is one of the safer and more practical choices in its category.